the warrior, I charge you to be brave. In the name of the Father, I charge you to be just. In the name of the Mother, I charge you to defend the innocent. Arise, a knight of the Seven Kingdoms.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Westeros. We have a special version here of the Movie Punditry podcast with my buddy, Mr. Phillips. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. I wish we had some warnings on some stuff, which I'm sure we'll get into, but overall, I'm doing well, and it's such an honor to be back here to talk some Thrones. Mike, this is a great year for us, man. Not one, but two Game of Thrones style shows in 1 year.
Absolutely. I would be happy to get back to what Green and Black is supposed to be, which is recapping House of the Dragon. But in the meantime, we've got a little side dalliance with the show that is currently on, and that is A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, based on the Dunk and Egg Tales that Mr. Martin wrote. Actually, a long time ago. I guess he did these while he was doing the original Game of Thrones novels.
Very interesting.
Yeah, but they are, for those of you who are, well, if you're unfamiliar with them, honestly, I don't know why you're listening, but they're a prequel to Game of Thrones. They fall in between House of the Dragons and Game of Thrones, probably about, I don't know, 50 or so years before the start of Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And they tell the story of a Hedge Knight, which is an unlanded, non-noble knight, and his young squire.
That really, ladies and gentlemen, that really is the plot of the show.
Yeah. So this is very much not anything like Game of Thrones or House of the Dragons. This is very lighthearted,
Yes.
whimsical almost.
Yes.
And
Like a comedy, almost want to think about it.
What's that?
Like not so much a comedy, but definitely has very comedic aspects to it.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's definitely set up that way. It's definitely set up to be, kind of lighthearted, like I said, lighthearted. The episodes are short, they're like 35 minutes or so.
Yeah.
And so it's not you're not gonna wind up with any, big heavy moments like you did in Game of Thrones or House of the Dragon. It's really meant to just kind of be a little palate cleanser before we dive into the new season of House of the Dragon, I think. And I don't know. I mean, well, tell you what, give me your thoughts.
You want my thoughts? Okay. My thoughts is for those who love Game of Thrones, who love House of Dragon, and people, if you haven't known by now, Game of Thrones is my favorite show of all times. It really is. Despite the last two seasons, we're not going to talk about that. So I'm really very, very much excited about this show. I'm the person, I don't read the books. I want to read the books, but I think after I watch the shows, then I'm going to go into the books. So same thing with this show as well. I said, you know what, let me watch the show first. And it hasn't been bad. It's been very entertaining. I will admit, let's share with you prior to this. I'm 2 for 2, falling asleep during the last 10 minutes of each episode. So I literally had to go back and watch both times of that. That's not because the plot has been boring. It's just I'm an older person now, you guys, and that's just how I am. But so far, I really have been enjoying the plot. I think I'm so used to Game of Thrones and House of Dragons that I'm automatically my mind start putting up. Okay, what's the plot twist here? What's the secret that hasn't been shown yet? And you can very much kind of see it. I mean, I don't want to spoil things already. I haven't read the book, so I don't know even if I'm saying it's spoilers. So I don't know if I have the ability to go there, Mike. So I will not right now unless you think I should go there. Then I will go there. But I'm seeing some things right now. I'm seeing some things. It's like with all these shows, it's a slow burn. So I feel like the more you catch on, I think later episodes, it's gonna really reward you for watching the beginning episodes. So that's where I'm at right now. It's definitely different from House of the Dragons and Game of Thrones. It's so far less. I'll put it like this: I don't think I saw any killings, like actual killings.
Well, so all right, so maybe at the end of this episode we'll do a little section. We won't call it a spoiler section, but we'll do a little section where you can get make your predictions, so to speak. And
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes.
because so here's the thing: it's like this, like Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon. Yeah, you kind of benefit from being a book reader, but the producers there have taken a lot of liberties in both cases.
Oh my God. Yes.
This is, from what I've seen so far, hews a lot closer to the books.
So just be clear, you read the books.
Yeah,
Okay. Oh, so I'm very happy to hear this. So now I can. Okay. Sorry.
yeah,
Please
and they're
continue.
short. They're novellas. They're not even books. They're
Ooh,
just
really?
yeah. They're like little mini things that it's like an hour read. It's not that big of a deal. It's not like Martin's regular stuff that 900 pages and takes you a while to pour through. These are really quick and just fun little stories. And so what I understand is there's three books. And what I understand is like each season is going to take one of the novellas.
Oh, I
Um,
like that.
so this is taking the first one, which is called um, The Hedge Knight. And then the second book is called the Sworn Sword. And the third book is called The Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. And
Mm.
so this is the first book. And it really is going to center around this tournament at Ashford. We're not going to leave Ashford once in this season.
Oh, okay,
Uh,
I'm glad to know that.
yeah, I mean, we're not going to leave Ashford. I mean, and for the most part, this has been almost uniquely in Dunk's point of view, which
Okay, so
is
about
which is
yeah.
not which again is not something that you see in the other shows. The other shows we kind of jump around from person to person. This is really kind of staying with Dunk. Even when like him and Egg separate, you're staying with Dunk. So I think we're going to wind up um, really getting a good insight into who this character is and what it is. And this is, it's different because it's not like we're not really dealing with like, the high lords and royalty and I mean they are characters in the story, but they're not the important characters in the story. They're just kind of like the asides, in like Game of Thrones, like the small folk are there, but you're really
Yeah.
dealing with like the lords and the high houses and the
A
and the
who's
great
who.
houses. Right. This is the exact opposite of it. This is all about small folk,
Yeah.
and especially this one hedge knight. So what a hedge knight is, I think I said, is a hedge knight is a knight who he's not landed, he's not nobility, he does not, you know, he is basically a hired sword that these houses will hire these guys um so that they can fill out their armies basically when they go to battle, and they're called head
Interesting.
knights because they sleep under hedges is kind of the idea. They don't own anything, they don't own any land, they don't have any castles, but they're an important part of the battles plans for these houses when they go to war. The thing is, at this point, there's no war.
Well, it's very rare to see that in the lore of Game of Thrones where there's no wars
Right.
happening.
We they just so you want me to run a little history of where we are. Um,
Please, actually, I'm enjoying this. Please, if you don't mind, yes, I think the
s-
viewers will like that too.
so we are here during the reign of Daron the Second, who is known as um, Daron the Good.
That was
It's
mentioned
a
in the
time.
second episode.
It is a
Yep.
time. It is a time of peace. they've just basically wrapped up what are known as the Blackfire rebellions. With the Blackfire rebellions, where is two kings prior to Daron was Aegon the Fourth, who is known as Aegon the Unworthy, and he had a bunch of bastards all over the place, and he basically legitimized them, and they began to kind of form up like their own family called the
Oh my gosh.
called the Blackfires, which was named after one of the Targaryen swords, and then they started to rebel against the crown and try to usurp the throne, and there was all these skirmishes and rebellions and things like that. And those have pretty much wrapped up at this point. And so there's this point of peace. And so all these knights and soldiers really have nothing to do. And these tourneys are a way for them to kind of, keep their skills sharp for one. But also we're almost at the point where there are knights in the realm who have not seen any battle. They only know tourneys.
Mm.
And so that becomes a bit of an issue as well. It's almost like, people have forgotten how to fight, so to speak.
Oh my gosh, no, see, that's some very interesting stuff right there. And I'm very curious to see how Sir Duncan's his skills as a fighter is. Because I know he was trained by his previous master, Sir Alan, I believe, or what was his name?
Sir Arlen
Arlen, excuse me,
of
Sir
Penny
Arlen.
Tree.
And I know, and I'm jumping around between the first episode, second episode, because I know the second episode title Hard Salt Beef has was mainly focused on his prior master, Sir Arlen, and what he was as a man and whatnot. So I'm very curious to see, as the episodes develop out, what did he really truly learn from Sir Arlen? If Sir Arlen truly is all that what Sir Duncan believes he is, and how does that translate to Sir Duncan to be as in general in terms as a actual warrior or a knight, because apparently he was knighted by Sir Arlen, but we haven't. That's just interesting. They didn't show that in the.
We didn't see that, right? So one of the questions is did that actually happen, or is Dunk just kind of assuming that that's what he wanted to do? I don't think he's like doing it out of like trying to get I don't think he's trying to like, there's no subterfuge here. Like, I don't think he would be like, oh, I'm just going to pretend I'm a knight. I don't think he's got that in him. But
Yeah.
I could see him where it's like, well, Sir Arwen had said he was going to knight me, but he died, so
Might as well.
might as well. I could see that. Or he could be telling the truth that, Sir Arwen on his deathbed or near his deathbed actually did knight him. It's entirely possible.
It is, and I feel like for the latter, I feel like that will be a reward for the viewers. If probably maybe towards the end of the season or maybe end of the series, we'll see a scene where that's come to pass. But right now, I'm still under the belief that because I didn't see it, I don't believe that happened. And to me, that's showing me a character flaw within Duncan that he's willing to lie in order to get to get what he wants in this case. Which in this case, he wants to be an attorney. And it's to that my point. Like, what's the purpose of him? He really, really desires to be in this fraternity. Like, what is he trying to prove?
Well, I think he's trying to get some money.
Oh, okay. Oh, a little bit. But is there other ways? Selling his horses.
Well, if there was a war, yeah. Well, he did sell one of his horses.
See, now that's so funny you said that because I'm gonna be honest, that's literally where I rewind back to rewatch it, and I didn't watch the scene before. I assume that we're talking about the white horse, right?
Right.
Okay, so I was under the assumption that person was gonna keep that horse for just for the night. But it makes sense now the way he gave that farewell speech.
Yeah, and he
Oh
said,
my,
I'll buy you back,
yeah,
right?
we'll see.
He really thinks he's gonna be able to just buy the
Buy his horses back.
buy the horses back.
I mean, we'll see.
Yeah. So the thing with these tourneys is like if you lose, then like you pay a ransom to like the knight who defeats you, like get your armor and your horse and stuff like
Yeah,
that. And then you
yeah.
pay a ransom to get it back. And so he's thinking that he can defeat some of these knights and he can get some money. And let's be face it, Dunk is too stupid to know better.
I think him being stupid is a very common thing.
It is.
It's very funny. Um, yeah, because that's mentioned through so far throughout the few episodes. He's even he at one point mentioned that he's pretty stupid. So yeah, I think right now he's way in over his head. I think we definitely see it when he does watch like the tourneys. He sees how what's really happening. He sees his competitors, and you get those facial reactions and those scenes of him like having those inner thoughts like, "Oh my God, am I really over my head or whatnot?" And I think that reality is coming close to him. So
I think we know he's over his head. I'm not sure he knows he's over his head.
you don't think so? Even after those scenes, like him looking back,
I
I,
I
I
don't
was under
know.
I was under the impression like those last few scenes. And maybe I have to probably rewatch it because I know he was talking, but to me it felt like he he's still gonna do what he's gonna do. Like it's already been set. But I think by him watching how good these people are, how ruthless these people are, and going back to his face, he's like, you know what? Yeah, maybe I might probably bit off more than I can chew. That's what I was seeing. I mean, I could be seen differently, but definitely would love to hear what you thought.
Yeah, and that's entirely possible. I mean, certainly in the second episode, that night joust, I thought that was great. That was really exciting,
It was
and
a great scene, yes.
it was really cool the way that they staged it, and the idea that these guys, you get knocked off your horse, and you have to worry about the other horses that are running at you,
Yeah.
and a couple guys got just like plastered that way, and so yeah, I mean, maybe he's kind of looking at this going, oh man, I don't know what I'm getting myself into here. And jousting is, obviously it's a skill and it's something that these guys trade for.
Oh, absolutely. It's yeah, and I mean I've seen him like you to show that like, one little scene that what I remember of him practicing and whatnot. Or even though even in the first episode, I think he was was he being challenged by someone? Not a jousting, but I think in an actual
Yeah.
little sparring match.
Yeah.
And I think I don't know. I see. This is how bad my memory.
It was one of the brothers, right?
Yes, yes, and it didn't plan out as seen, but I definitely can see that as being like a foreshadow that they're definitely gonna meet. They're gonna meet and they're gonna have some type of battle. So I'm looking forward to that. But right now, I don't think of him. I think he has the potential of being a great knight, and whatnot. But the one that we're seeing right now is that I don't think he has the skills. I think he's way in over his head. Um, I don't think that we're at that development yet.
No. And it wasn't I'm sorry, they're not brothers, they're cousins, if I remember now.
Cousins.
Because
Okay,
it
yeah.
was it was it was the Fossaways with the apple sigil. And Raymond was the I think Raymond. Oh no, Stefan is the knight, and Raymond
Mhm.
is his cousin, who's
Was
the
it
squire.
Squire?
Yeah,
Squire, yeah. Very interesting.
yeah, and we should point out what the duties of a squire is. Like a squire is like kind of like a knight in training, and the idea is that they provide like assistance to the knight or the lord,
Right.
um, and a lot of knights have squired for, other knights.
Yeah.
Even like Jamie Lannister was a squire at one point, and you listen to Game of Thrones, like some of the knights will talk about like who they squired for and things like that. And it's just
So the history books.
right. It's just a way for that for, young men who are, interested in that to learn
Pocket.
what it means, like learn the skills of what it means to be a knight. Both
Yeah.
the technical fighting skills type of thing
Yeah.
and also the more, the ceremonial chivalrous stuff that they did, like Podrick squiring for Brienne,
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it should be noted too that the knights have a big responsibilities when it comes to the squires and taking them in. I noticed like it's a ritual that they have to say that I promise that you will not go to bed hungry, that
Right.
you'll have a some type of shelter over your head and whatnot. So it is. It seems like it's like it definitely is a relationship.
They're responsible for them,
Absolutely,
and
yeah,
families will offer like their sons to their liege houses as squires, and those houses have a responsibility to protect them, take care of them, feed them, clothe them, train them,
yes, yes,
and that type of thing. And again, this all falls back to the point where you know if a war comes, then these soldiers need to be able to call upon these hedge knights, and this is like right out of history. So this is a very common thing in Europe in the Middle Ages. We They were called knights errant, but it was the
really,
same. Yeah, it was the same situation. These were basically sellswords. They're basically hired hands, hired swords. And when the French would go, some French lord would go to war or something like that. You know, he just wanted good fighters. He didn't care, who your family was. He just
if you
he just
want, you can
needed
fight,
10,000. He needed 5,000 men to go march somewhere, and as long as they could fight, and they would
and it
reward them
produces
with
results.
knighthoods, but that doesn't make them rich. And so you had these guys who basically like lived as they were knights, but they basically lived as like vassals of a house, and they a lot of times they went from job to job to job, depending on who was fighting and who was having a war. And it's the same thing with these guys. I mean, when Dunk was going through like Sir Arlen's list of things, he's talking to all these lords. He's like, oh, he fought for you here, he fought for you
Yeah,
here, you know he wasn't tied to one house. He would go wherever the money was,
and
and
sales
wherever
for it.
and wherever there was a need.
Yeah,
Uh, how about Sir Manfred, man?
Sir Manfred.
The
the
dancing guy.
yeah, he's a Baratheon, no?
He is. Yeah.
The Baratheons, they love the party. They love themselves some parties. He was very interesting. I thought
I'm
he
sorry, not Sir Manfred, Sir Lionel.
so
Manfred
Lionel
is yeah,
Baratheon. But I knew who he was talking about.
yeah. Lionel Baratheon, um, who is one of these bored nobles, is trying to find something to do with himself, and
Yeah. And then he just Donkey just finds himself in his tent and he's the center of his attention. And I felt like he was like put on the spotlight for the first portion
right.
and how that quickly shifted off into, that very unique scene of them just dancing. I'm like, okay. So I think that's gonna be very interesting. I love how one thing about these shows is they will literally name drop. They'll name drop famous houses. So we was able to see in the first episode House Baratheons, good to see the history, come to life and watching it because you hear these characters by name in the main lore and see them and see the personalities and see how the traits continue on in the future, in the future episodes and whatnot.
Right. No, absolutely. And we do hear a lot of the names, right, that we hear.
Yeah.
Like Sir Manfred. There's Sir Manfred, and he's a Dundarian who is, if you remember, um,
So House
Beric
of the Dragon.
Beric Dondarrion from Game of Thrones, right? The guy with the patch who couldn't die.
Oh yes, 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 yes. Knights of the Brotherhood without banners.
Right, exactly. Obviously Sir Lionel
Oh,
Baratheon, who was one of Robert's, forebears. And then later, there's like a Tully in there. There's a Martell, right? There's a Martell in there. I think there's a Tarly in there. Like there's a lot of, we hear a lot of names getting dropped.
oh my God, yeah. And I do enjoy. I think I'm glad they do that for those who are truly faithful to the series, to the whole lore and things. It's really cool to just hear those name drops or see those people. And I know, especially with the even with the second episode, I feel like the big family of the whole lore is definitely the Targaryens, and just to see like you said, you mentioned Baelor and his Merrick and there's the son I think it was Baylor's son in action and whatnot. It was cool. It's really cool to see that and to see even was threw me off a little bit, but this first see the white hair on some of them, but then the black hair, and it made me think and realize, okay, maybe they're probably from the direct line of Reina. I don't know.
Right.
Again, I don't hope that's not going to spoiler territory because they really do have a chaotic family line. But it definitely noticed that with Baylor, he definitely had black hair. I was like, that's very interesting because in the show they have the white blonde hair, and in the books they have the white hair but purple eyes. Which I know they're not following that in none of the shows, but I thought that was very interesting. Which I did enjoy as much.
Yeah. The thing to clock here with this though is right. So these are the Targaryens. This is the time when there are no dragons.
Yes. So weird to see
Other
them.
other than the one apparently Sir Arlen's hiding, but we'll talk about that later. Um, there are
Why would you say that? Oh, man, I just repressed that out of my mind and you brought that right back.
but there are no dragons, and the dragons have been gone for quite a while. And so this is a Targaryen dynasty that is trying to hold on without dragons.
And that seems very impossible because that's their strength. You see it from the sigil. I feel like what makes the Targaryens powerful or makes them known, besides them being crazy and sleeping around amongst each other, is the fact that they have dragons and they use the dragons as weapons.
Right.
So this is so weird to see how they are. That was in my mind too when I was watching. I said, "This is very weird and unique to see how they're still in charge, and yet, despite the
But
fact
it
that no
but it's
dragon."
but it's tenuous, right? I mean, here you have some like really like this backwater tourney, and you've got Targaryen princes, and not just, I mean, princes. Like Baelor is the hand
Second
of
in
the
command.
king. Yeah, he's the heir and the hand of the king, and he's showing up at this tournament, and it's like, why would they feel the need to show up at this tournament if they're not just, look, we got to get out there, we got to press flesh, we got to make our faces known, we got to get out, show people that were involved because back in the day, they wouldn't have done. A Targaryen wouldn't have showed up there.
No, there would have been no way. So that makes I get what you're saying makes sense. You want to make sure to remind people of their strength and the power they have. I guess so by showing up and doing that, that to me makes sense. But I'm like, how long can you last, man? Because that's it's such a big deal, and we've seen from these shows what one dragon can do. Like one dragon can destroy a whole city by themselves. So I don't know.
Right, but remember what, remember Tyrion or Tyrion Tywin talking about the dragons and how they used to have the skulls in the throne room, and
Yeah,
over here was Balerion the Black Dread, who was whose skull was the side of a carriage, and
that's true.
the last of the dragons was over down the other end, barely bigger than a cat.
Yes, I
You
do
know,
remember that. Yeah.
so it's like it was like this symbol of decay and diminishing power, and now they're at the point where they don't have the dragons to back them up. So they are holding on to power solely by like political maneuvering, and whether or not they're up to it is something that's going to have to be determined, and we know the end of that.
Yeah.
Because in the show, you have Daron is like 3 or 4 kings before Ares. There's an extra one in the books that they don't have. Actually, it's not even that many.
And is Ares the Mad King?
Ares is the Mad King, right?
Okay, thank you. First of all, I get so upset. First of all, George R. Martin, if you're somehow, I don't know, somehow listening to this podcast, you're wild for naming all these kings and kings, Aegon, Ares, so on and so forth, because I'm so confused, man. To this day.
About what?
Just the names. I was just trying to be funny, but in terms of all the names, the same names: Eggs, Aegon, Ares, Amen, AA. I just made that wrong. Aaron. I'm trying to be funny, but I'm failing badly.
So do we want to see? I don't know. Do you want to know anything? Do you want to guess anything?
Oh, is this like going into the spoilers?
I don't know. I mean,
Okay,
you have anything else to bring up that we could talk about? That
we have not talked about at all the other half of this cast, Egg.
Okay, that's true. Oh
So
man, yeah.
I was a little bit shocked by that, and that's who I kind of want to talk about
Okay.
a little bit. But that's a little bit. First of all, let me just say this is not spoiled. Great job to the casting directors and casting this kid. I feel like this kid is probably 10 years old. I feel like he's like at least 10 years older than me. Like he's probably like 48 years old. Like this kid's am I lying though? He's
No.
so like I watched even the like behind the episodes and watched him do interviews. This kid is like so mature and
He
like
is. He definitely
and
is.
pronouncing everything. I'm like this, and he's a joy. He really is.
He is.
I read like the previews of this show, and it's saying like first of all these two main characters, they're good, but they're really good together. But he really steals the show, like from the way he talks to his accent. He, despite his age, he can really keep up with Duncan, and honestly, past Duncan in terms of wits and whatnot. He's just very very
The
intelligent.
scene where they're sitting and they're in the tent,
Yes.
and Duncan is like, people call me stupid,
Yes.
and Egg is like, and
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 it's not being stupid.
he's like, and what?
Everyone's always told me I was stupid.
And? What?
What?
What did you do when people said you were stupid, sir?
What business is that of yours? My problems are my own.
I thought you trying to help me?
He's like, like that's none of your business. And then I feel like you should win a reward for it.
The look on Egg's face. He's like,
that
what?
should be a reward. I've had to rewind that a few times because I love that look. That was pure great acting right there, because that's the look I would have made if I was responded to if I got responded like that. I'm just like, come on now. He was expecting more, you know.
Well, he's obviously extremely intelligent. He's obviously extremely well read.
Yes.
He is not, he's obviously not who he is pretending to be.
That's what I'm talking about.
And I'm thinking, and we'll talk about that in a minute, but I'm thinking back about like the episodes where like Arya was in Harrenhal with Tywin, pretending to be like she was like Tywin's cupbearer, pretending to be like a peasant girl.
Don't do this to me.
But she kept slipping.
Yes, my lord.
My lord, it's like, how did you? She's telling the story of like Nymeria and her sisters and all that, and she's like, and Tywin's like, how do you know that? He's like, my father told me. Oh, well-read stonemason, He and the thing I love about that is like Tywin knew that she wasn't who she was, but he admired her intelligence, for being and her survival skills. So he wasn't gonna like blow it out. Like he didn't know it was Arya, but
he knew it was a highborn.
But he knew that she was highborn, and that she was probably just hiding. She's probably, like a northern girl who, was just trying to survive, and he gave her that. And so it's like I get the same vibe with Egg, where he's definitely more than he could see.
More than he's portraying.
Yeah.
And Dunk is too. I'm sorry, Dunk, but you're too stupid to realize that too. Like I'm really curious to see if at all he's gonna realize. See, this is my spoiler, because already I'm like, Egg is definitely, like we already know, he's more than what he's being portrayed, and I wonder if Dunk's gonna be able to see this. Side note: if you ever want to do an episode on just that one scene between Tywin and I'm 100% down.
I got a lot to say about that whole
okay. You have my number, Mike. You just hit me up, and we can make that, because I have much to say about the series. There's multiple scenes with them together. Oh my gosh! Don't give me.
All right. So guys, for the next couple of minutes, if you don't want any spoilers and you don't want any information going forward about who these characters are and what we think is going to happen in the future, then tap out now and we will catch you in the next episode. But if you are either familiar with it and you want our opinions on it, or you're interested in learning maybe a little more than you would get from the strict episodes, then just stick around.
Stop it! You're spoiling it! You're spoiling everything!
All right, so I want to know, like, what you think of Egg.
What I think in terms of what?
In terms of who is he and what's he hiding?
Well, I think I think we're getting clues as the episodes go on and on. Obviously, the first episode, he seems like he's just a random orphan kid, like poor kid. He's at the end. The lady's telling him don't pay him no mind and stuff. He says he wants to be like a knight. He's on the horse, and then he follows after Duncan, wants to be his squire, so on and so forth. But anytime they put any of these characters together, there's much more to this story. So as you watch the second episode, I'm already starting to forget that. So I feel like he's definitely an heir, or he's related to somebody of a high known family, and I'm thinking, and I believe I'm pretty much correct. So this is spoiler territory, but I'm very confident that he's definitely a Targaryen, and I know for a fact that he is Targaryen for a few things. I think he shaved his head for a reason, but then again, they call him Egg, so maybe because of his head. But I think maybe as a reason to probably run away, because in the second episode, Baelor says that his brother is upset because interesting right there, two of his kids are missing, and I believe one of those two kids is definitely Egg. Probably he seems like he's a horrible person, so maybe he's like a horrible father or whatnot. So maybe that's why he ran away. And the way, anytime a donkey mentions Targaryen or you see, mentions the Targaryen, there's definitely some type of reaction with Egg's face, and he does not want to. He wants no parts with them. And then, if you want to get to full spoilers, where I know that this is a Targaryen, is if you go back to Game of Thrones. Sorry, y'all. Master Aemon is a Targaryen, and his brother is Egg. Like literally, as he's passing away, he's calling out for this young boy right here. Now, Mike, you know, so please let me know. I don't know if Aemon is the older brother or the younger brother of Egg, so please help me to know. By the way, you're muted. So I don't know if you're speaking or not.
So Aemon, thank you. Aemon is the older brother.
Ah,
So Egg, whose real name is Aegon,
there you go.
is the fourth son.
Really?
Yeah. And so Aemond, as you know, Aemond.
He went to the
Well,
wall.
if you remember that story, then you know that Aegon in the Game of Thrones, Aegon, because Aemon says when news came from the north, news came from the south about my brother, that they had killed my brother's son and his son and the children.
When I heard they had killed my brother's son and his poor son and the children, even the little children.
Who are you?
My father was Micah, the first of his name. My brother Egan reigned after him when I had refused the throne, and he was followed by his son Aerys, whom they called the Mad King.
He wanted to go back for revenge, but he couldn't because he became part of the wall.
Right. Well, he was already a maester, and there's a story behind Aemon becoming part of the Night's Watch.
And that's a big deal too. If you can share, in case you guys didn't know, when you become part of the Night's Watch, you're disowning your whole family and your family name. So once Aemon came, like he was really technically no longer a Targaryen. Am I correct?
Basically, I mean that was true when he was a maester.
Oh,
It
even
was kind of doubly true when he was part of the Night's Watch. And if you remember, they said they offered me the throne, and I refused it.
This is interesting because if I'm not mistaken, his father is definitely not. I mean, technically not in line. This is interesting.
Right, Maekor is a fourth son.
Oh my gosh! So how for him, and that's Aemon's father.
Right.
So
So Aegon, when Aegon,
Mhm.
and so when Aegon becomes king, his name, what they refer to him as, is Aegon the Unlikely,
Because it's very
because
unlikely.
because he's the fourth son of a fourth son. There's no way he should have been king.
Oh my gosh!
And so in the book, so in the show, Aemon says, my brother's son, who they call the Mad King, and his son, and the
Stop
children,
it!
right? So he's talking
Stop
about
it!
Robert Baratheon coming to kill Aerys being killed, Rhaegar being killed, and the children being killed.
Daenerys
And
and what's his name? Viserys.
well, Rhaegar's children as well. So, but the point is that in this, so Daenerys's father is Egg's son.
That's what I'm trying to say. Oh, so we're looking
Now
basically.
in the books there's another king and there's another son in the middle, but they changed that in the show's.
So are you telling me that this bald-headed little boy is Daenerys'
Is Daenerys' grandfather.
Oh my gosh! Drop the mic. That I'm glad to know this because it just sheds light even more. Okay.
So we have heard of both of these characters in Game of Thrones.
Because it's Duncan, and I'm hoping I'm not jumping. Is he somehow related to Brianna Toth, or is Brianna Toth related to him?
No,
No.
no,
Oh, okay.
no.
I was under the impression.
But he was referenced in Game of Thrones. I don't think his name was spoken, but he was referenced in writing.
Oh, like probably like the scenes where Joffrey's like talking about the knights in the
Yeah,
book, and she's looking.
he's listed, and so think about that.
That says a lot.
He's listed. He has an entry in the White Book, the Book of Brothers. So what does that mean?
The Book of Brothers. I don't know anything about the Book of Brothers.
Yes, you do.
The Book of Brothers. Is the Book of Brothers the famous book of the knights? Like the book we see where Brienne's writing Jaime's name in?
Right. Exactly.
And then,
but it's not any knight.
because he's called the show's called A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. So that's such a pristine. There's no way. There's no way that he's gonna be a knight for this young boy. He's gonna be the knight for the king.
So the book of
Wait,
Brothers.
am I right?
Yeah, sort of. The Book of Brothers is the history of the brothers of the Kingsguard, of the Knights of the Kingsguard.
It's the history of the Knights of the Kingsguard. So yeah, the Kingsguard is the people that we know, like Jaime Lannister. They protect the king. Jaime
Right.
Lannister, although he's also known as King.
Well, yeah, that's a whole different story. But
yeah, okay, I'm picking up what you're throwing.
Importantly, Barristan Selmy.
Yeah, I've never saw me. He went back. He was first with the Baratheons and with Joffrey. Then
Right.
he left and became to be back with Daenerys. He found Daenerys and became her Queen's Guard.
Right.
What about him?
So Barristan was, in a way, kind of like Dunk. He was from a small, unknown family, and he came to a tourney, and he was his first joust. He was unhorsed, but then he came back, and he unhorsed Sir Duncan the Tall, and that's how he began to build his reputation.
Oh my gosh!
Now, it was a very young Barristan Selmy. It was a very old Duncan the Tall.
And Duncan the Tall. Okay, so he builds up a name for himself. Okay. Oh wow! You know what? Honestly, I don't know how other people feel. I am appreciating this. Like this is helping me. I think I'm gonna enjoy watching the show, knowing what was shared within this past, like honestly, 5-10 minutes. Know what I know now, and even knowing things I don't know yet, like how things came to be. I think I'm gonna start enjoying this show in a new light.
Yeah. See, I think for me, it helps. It makes it more enjoyable for me knowing how these guys wound up. Because I'm interested in seeing how they got there, how these two got to where they were, where they would end up.
I'm very, very curious, especially with a name called King Aegon the Unlikely. Because he was very unlikely. Like when you said the fourth child, like how did there's so many opportunities It's like kind of like in the Bible, you think about like with David and Goliath, David was like he has all these older brothers before him, and yeah, he's the one. Like it's like that, but it's just like I'm curious just to see how Aegon the Likely became Aegon the Unlikely, and why is it that he's currently running away from his family, from his namesake? And I want to know how Duncan the Tall is going to respond to this. And I'm wondering if Duncan. See, now I'm like trying to finish the ending of this whole thing. I'm wondering if Duncan the Tall is going to definitely be the King's Guard for King Aegon when he does become king, because they're already building such a big rapport right now.
Yeah.
This is gonna be a little bit more interesting now. This show has like 6 episodes, right? I mean, at least this season.
I think so. Yeah, it's short.
It's very short.
It's very short, and the episodes themselves are short. They're like 35 minutes, I think, if they're even that long.
Yeah, I'm on the page right now on my TV. And the first episode is 42 minutes. Second episode is 34 minutes.
Right.
So
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know. I mean, now there is towards the end of this, I would imagine that last episode is probably going to be longer.
yeah, probably like an hour, maybe 50 minutes to an hour. Um, I'm curious. Does the lady? I'm assuming she might be like a love interest. Does she play like a big role? She's the one that's like in the You can see that Doug is smitten with her. She's like an actress, but also a painter. She's gonna paint the
The
sigil
pup.
on this.
Yeah. Yep.
Interesting. Okay.
Her name is Tanzel.
Tenzel.
Hmm.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, that's
Right.
honestly that's all I have for in regards to with the show so far. I think
And
overall,
overall,
yeah,
go ahead.
yeah, overall, I think it's a good show. I feel like if you're expecting the crazy action and the suspense and then the plot twist that you expect from like a peak Game of Thrones, I feel like you should adjust your expectations a little bit right now. Because it's definitely not giving that. It's like probably like a watered down a little bit, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad. It's still
No.
good. It's just
And I think you're going to get plenty of action. I just
oh,
think it's gonna. Yeah.
it's gonna take
No.
us. You
No. This
yeah,
book. The books are not boring. So there's definitely stuff that will happen. Um. I'm not gonna say anything to that point, but
okay, I'll take it. I'll take it as is. I'm excited. I think, like I said, I'm excited. I'm already looking forward to the next episode. I want to dive more into. I want to see more of the Targaryen story and learn more about the Targaryen characters,
oh,
along
I
with
think I think
Duncan.
you I think you definitely will.
Oh, I love that. I love hearing
You
that.
want to
That
keep an
puts me
eye on
above
Baylor. You
it.
want to keep an eye on actually really kind of all of them.
So you maybe now you gotta be worried now because to me it's they're presenting Baylor as he seems like he's a good guy. Like he's good. Like
He's a good guy.
I like that. It's very rare to see a Targaryen like that. You heard what Varys says. You take a Targaryen is like a coin. Like one side is crazy, the other side is sane. You never know what you're gonna get. So there's a lot of Targaryen characters up in here. I feel like we need some sane ones.
Yeah. So I just want to clear one thing up because some people may be confused. Baylor, this Baylor is not Baylor the Blessed.
Okay, I don't know who that is, but I
So
believe you.
Baylor the Blessed he was a king. Uh, he was Rhaenyra's grandson.
Interesting.
Um, and he was a king, and he was very pious. He was one who built the sept.
Oh,
and really
he was
tried
very
to,
religious. He was very
yeah,
religious.
and very religious. Tywin, when Tywin was explaining to Timon about like all the remember that scene where he's like asking him questions about like what makes a good king,
Yes,
and he's like
I love
pious.
that
Oh
scene.
yes, Baelor was pious, and Baelor starved himself to death. Um,
Oh, boy.
so that was Baelor. That was Baelor. This Baelor, this is Breakspear, who was named after him. So this is not. This is because people are like, oh, Baelor. I've heard of Baelor. This is a different Baelor. The Targaryens. They got like 8 names.
That's what
So
I'm saying. And this is also Baylor a dragon.
what do you mean?
No, there's a dragon named Baylor.
No,
There isn't. Okay, my mistake.
Balerion. There's Balerion.
Oh, Valerian. Okay.
So, but yeah, you want to keep an eye on these. By the way, the we're worried about spoilers. The child, Dexter Sol Ansel, he is credited as Aegon Targaryen. So,
Oh yeah, there you go. Well, there you go. So, don't blame us. Blame HBO. They spoiled it for y'all.
but you want to keep an eye on all the Targaryens that we've seen so far.
Okay, so I see at least 4.
There are at least 4, right? Because
There's the boy.
we've already seen
Mention those
Baelor.
5 mentioned at least.
We've already seen
5.
Baelor. We've already seen Maekor. We've already seen Aerion. He's kind of the butthole one.
Yeah, he looks like he was a douche. With all due respect, he's my language.
And I don't think have we seen.
We didn't see the other brother that's missing. The other brother that's missing, there's 2 of them.
Right, Daron. So, yeah. So, yeah, keep an eye on the Targaryens because this especially this first chapter, which is this season, it's kind of Dunk observing a Targaryen story is kind of the best way to put it.
Dog observing Targaryen, sir. Okay, I love it. That's so funny.
All right, so that is the first 2 episodes of A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, and I am looking forward to the rest of this.
Like you, I am very much looking forward to it as well. I'm gonna have many questions that I'm sure you're gonna be able to help me answer them, Mike. So I appreciate you for that.
All right, so we will. I don't know if we're going to do every episode or we do the 6 episodes. So maybe we'll do every 2, or maybe we'll do like the next 2 and then we'll do the last 2 separately. I don't know. We'll see how the schedule. We'll see how our schedules work out.
Yeah, I'm definitely down. I'll be there.
Okay. All right. Thank you, and we will catch you next time.
Yes, sir.